I am not bad.
How's lockdown treating you?
Absolutely miserable. No, it's not that bad, to be completely honest. Like, when you think about it, it's like it gives me time to kind of catch up on home life, even though I'm not able to hang out with friends and stuff like that. But it definitely gives me a little bit more time to focus on things outside of the band, either creativity wise or business wise, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because I mean, you have like Twitch and your leatherwork and stuff, and I know you're
Yeah,
setting up
I'm
and like
running a million miles an hour with all that stuff. So
that's good though, kind of.
yeah, it's definitely fun, and it's stuff that I've been wanting to work on for a while, and stuff that I've wanted to get together, and I haven't really had the time to kind of sit back and create like a real plan and so on and so forth. So it's definitely helping in that way,
Mm.
but mentally it's definitely taxing.
Yeah, I think the novelty of it being like the weekend always said I needed is kind of worn off now, and I'm just
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I 100% agree. It's like I just want to get back out on tour,
mm.
or if the shows aren't going to go according to plan, if they're not going to open up venues and whatnot, then I'd at least like to go hang out with my friends.
Yeah, because I know you guys you had to cancel
Oh
it was
yeah.
kind of on its last stretch around North US or something.
Yeah, so we were supposed to do we were actually it was the first day of the tour that the tour got canceled.
Oh,
We went to Philly, which is about 2 hours south of us, and it was the first tour of the Die Artist Murder um, headliner that they were going to do in the U.S. It was their first headliner in like a couple years in the U.S., so it was definitely going to be big.
mm.
And it was us, Aversion's Crown, Enterprise Earth, Une Miseray, and Thy Art. And I mean, we had one band from Iceland, we had one band or two bands from Australia, and they all flew in to Philadelphia. And one day on the tour, everybody's like, "All right, go home."
Oh my God.
It was definitely a weird situation.
Yeah, because I suppose you hype yourself up a little bit like beforehand, and then for it to kind of after like day one just be like, nope.
Yeah, like it was up in the air on whether or not we were going to go out because we had just done Europe with Thy Art. And, when we got home from that tour, then that's when we kind of realized what had been going on. Because when you're on tour, you're not, I mean, at least me and my band aren't like, we're not clinging to news channels. We're not, looking at the news every day, seeing what's going on. So we didn't really hear about it until we got home. And then once we got back to the States, we were like, huh, this is a serious threat. It's a serious thing.
Yeah.
And finally, it got way serious like 2-3 days before the tour when people were asking, "Oh, is this show still going on? Is this show still going on? What's the deal?" And then, yeah, the first day that we were out, we showed up to Philly. We were still unsure about the rest of the tour, how many dates were going to get canceled and whatnot. And yeah, we about a half hour before we played, they told us that the tour was done and go home. And we have no idea when we're going back out, which is it's a weird situation for us right now, especially for me. I haven't been home for more than like 4 or 5 months in 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, since I was like 18 years old, I haven't been home for more than 5 months because I've been touring.
Living the life.
Yeah, you could say that.
So I see a lot of bands either cancel or postpone. What kind of ties in with making that decision whether to cancel outright or postpone, or is it not really kind of in your hands to do that?
Well, I mean, personally, it's not in my hands, even when my band is like headlining. Like if we were to cancel a tour, that's something that, usually we all weigh in on, but ultimately the decision comes from, our booking agent and management and the band together. Like, it's not just like a one person decision.
Yeah, yeah.
For the tour that just got canceled, it was pretty much management, booking agent, and the art's decision. So it was kind of out of our hands completely.
Mm.
And so it usually when shows get canceled, then it's usually like a band decision. Everybody comes together and we weigh out options, and we figure out, all right, well, if we go to this show and we make X amount of money, but this happens and this happens, is it worth doing the show, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
There's certain shows, like if shows get canceled because of weather, stuff like that. It's very notorious for shows to get canceled in, say, Denver or Utah or places like that out west, because there's a lot of snow up in those areas.
Mm.
So we could play a show in Denver and it could be 60 degrees out, and then we can go drive to Salt Lake City and there's 4 feet of snow on the ground, and we can't even get to the show because roads are closed. So
Yeah.
that decision is a little bit easier to make. But when you sink so much money into a tour like Thy Art did, this was their first headliner in the States in a couple years, and they were really trying to hit it hard. So
Yeah.
for them to turn around and say, all right, well, we're going to we're going to do this tour and all this stuff is going to be perfect, and then have something like this pop up, I feel so bad. Like, my heart sinks because I know how much time and effort and money and everything that went into it.
Yeah, yeah. Such a big thing, especially when it's been planned for X amount of time as well.
Oh, those dudes, especially Marshy, um, you know, that guy is so well planned. I've talked to him. Me and him have had multiple conversations about social media stuff, and he's kind of like a social media guru.
Mm.
So I kind of pick his brain about certain stuff, but he's a very well calculated dude, and very smart business guy, and knowing how much time, like I said, time, effort, and money that he put into it, as well as their whole band and team.
Yeah.
Fuck, man, it definitely hurts.
Yeah. Such a strange time to be in. It's not really anything you'd ever imagine of happening in our lifetime. But
Yeah, I mean, well, if you think about it, I mean, we had phone games about this stuff.
yeah.
Like, we literally had phone games about stuff like this, and it's kind of crazy how, that translated to real life, and how people, I I don't know, man, how people reacted, and just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. I honestly, this stuff, people saw this stuff coming years ago,
Yeah.
and it's not something that is wildly unfathomable. That's it's something that has happened before. It's happened numerous times, as close as 10 years ago. We had was the H1N1 breakout.
Mm.
Was it the swine flu or whatever it was, like
Yeah.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
And the internet wasn't as big back then, so stuff didn't spread as much and whatnot. But the amount of people that are giving just horrible information, and people that are pretending like they know best, it's like, dude, just wash your hands, don't touch your face, don't cough in people's mouths,
Yeah.
and stay safe.
Are you guys doing anything during lockdown? Throwing any ideas around? Are you just kind of calling it quits until this all is over and then you'll start the ball rolling again?
Um, for the band, there's some things that we have in the works for sure. Stuff that we were already working on. So our plan is kind of moving accordingly. But unfortunately, it's just, we put so much. I mean, same thing. We put so much time and effort into making sure that the release of the Sea of Tragic Beasts was perfect, And we pushed back the release date a couple times. We wanted to make sure that the album was perfect, wanted to make sure that the art was perfect, and everybody on Nuclear Blast, or everybody on the Nuclear Blast team, was stoked on it. And we did 2 tours on the record, and then we, the rest of our year is done. So for us, thinking about it, we're doing well with the record, but it's not as we planned. It's not as we hoped it was going to be. So we're kind of just trucking along, writing and taking our time while we're home to focus on other aspects of the band, whether it be just music, because obviously everybody can jam when they're home. And then just figuring out, I mean, I've been toying with certain social media ideas and stuff like that. But as far as, virtual concerts and stuff like that, I don't know if that's in our cards, or if that's in the cards for us. Maybe, who knows? But I mean, just as a band, probably not.
No, that's fine. I mean, I think people are just trying to kind of do what they can do at the minute with whatever power that they have. And it's all very new to bring everything online all of a sudden.
Well, it's kind of cool because it forces bands to look at other outlets, and it forces musicians to look at other outlets. Like, the Twitch thing is getting massive for musicians now, and it's really cool because I started streaming 2 years ago when Matt from Trivium was like, at his, not at his peak. I mean, it is probably at his peak now. The dude's killing it. The dude's doing, I mean, he brought us in. The dude's doing great, and to see guys like Devin Townsend and, I mean, Zach from Whitechapel just hopped on Twitch. You have Jason Richardson. You have the dudes from Tesseract. You have all these guys that stream that are touring musicians, as well as, you have musicians that just stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a cool thing to see more people interact with friends and fans on in a live setting like that.
Yeah, I think so. There's like over like about a month or so, there was just this influx I just saw on Instagram of like all these bands doing some kind of streaming, whether it was like social media, whether it was like on a Twitch thing. There was just loads, and even like festivals and gigs that were meant to be and stuff were all just taking it online. And I think it's kind of forced the industries to evolve a little bit, maybe a bit earlier than they were going to.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah,
it definitely forces people to look at outlets that they've never looked at before, because everybody's kind of scrambling to keep themselves relevant, because, I mean, if a band took off, a band of our size, it's not like Tool can take off for 13 years and, still play arenas and stadiums.
Yeah.
If a band like us took off for 13 years, we'd be nothing. If a band like us took off for, I mean, even a year, if we stopped touring for a year, it would be so detrimental to our engagement, I guess you would say, whether it be in person or social media or stuff like that. It's hard to recover from that, so now, I guess, since everybody is taking off, it's not as bad, but it's still that struggle to stay relevant. It's still that struggle to find a way to connect with fans without playing a show,
Yeah. And do you think that maybe like all of these kind of changes, whether it's like technical or just the fact that people are being more mindful of stuff, I don't know, do you think that that's something that's made enough of a point to continue on after post-lockdown, or do you think it's gonna kind of fizzle out?
I think with certain people it's going to fizzle out because they're going to go back to their normal life and be like, well, I don't need to do a live stream anymore. I don't need to do Twitch streaming, or I don't need to do Instagram live streams, or, I don't need to connect to fans this way because, I have touring, I have the live shows, and I have this and that. So I definitely think that a lot of people are going to fade out from it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a flash in the pan for them.
Mm.
But for the people that really hit it off and really enjoy it, I think it's going to be super cool to see them grow as streamers and grow as, certain content creators or influencers or stuff like that, because now they're looking at a different side of the band world.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I definitely see a lot of people sticking with it, even though I see most people sticking with it, and a couple people just saying, I don't need this."
Yeah, I think it makes it like just more accessible, doesn't it? Just in general, maybe I don't know, just people that don't usually go to certain things because of whatever reason, they could just do it at home.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, that's also another thing that people aren't realizing about, and it's not just the music world, the business world, and the real life jobs. They're realizing that they don't need to be in an office in order to get their job done. So now a lot of companies are turning around and saying, all right, well, we're offering permanent remote jobs, because I mean, a graphic designer that works in an office, that somebody talks to maybe once or twice a day to get something, they could just sit at home and hang out with their dog and just make images all day and not have to worry about being stuck in a miserable office,
Yeah,
you
or
know?
travel there and back. Or,
Yeah, exactly. You're saving money with that. The office is saving money because they don't have to have as many cubicles, they don't have to have as many desks,
mm,
stuff like that. Remote jobs, people are realizing that remote jobs are now going to be way more accessible. Jobs like Google and uh, just graphic design jobs. And it's not just graphic design jobs, it's sales jobs, it's administration jobs, stuff like that. All these people are doing all of their work at home and getting everything done. And
yeah.
companies are realizing that their productivity could possibly skyrocket from people working at home.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's so true. Okay, well, I guess one last thing, and I'll let you go.
Yeah, no worries.
um, what are you missing the most? What's the one thing that as soon as this all blows over, you're gonna go and do?
It's probably human interaction, to be completely honest. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've been seeing my mom. I saw my girlfriend. I saw a couple of my friends, but the the normalcy of just going into a bagel spot or going into a deli or something like that and seeing the people that you normally see,
Mm,
that complete your weekly routine.
yeah,
And just being able to, and I know a lot of people are probably feeling like this, like, even to be able to give friends and family members a hug.
mm,
A lot of people or a lot of people aren't able to do that. So, you know that's definitely something that I miss, like being able to hang out and not have to worry about either staying 6 feet or wearing a mask into a place to get food and stuff like that. So yeah, New
yeah,
York got hit pretty bad. So,
yeah. I've
everybody over here is pretty rough.
yeah, I've been like seeing everything on the news. Like one of the places, like in the UK, that gets zoned in quite a lot when they're talking about the states is New York, and yeah, it looks crazy.
Yeah, New York is definitely in the in the shit right now. We're
Mm.
dealing with a lot of stuff, but we'll get it. We'll get through it. Is what it is.
Yeah, it's not gonna be forever. It's that not knowing kind of thing. I think that's just the worst thing. Like if they were miraculously be able to turn around with the date, even if that date was like a few months away, it just make you feel better because there's like a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, for sure. They keep pushing back the date. So for me, I'm just like, what it is, what it is.
Yeah, just gotta just keep doing
Yeah, just keep hanging out.
it. Keep
I
doing
just,
this.
yeah, I literally just got to keep sitting in my room and creating and, being as productive as possible.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, thank you for the chat, and I hope you stay safe and well.
Anytime, you as well.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.